Maybe I should just go over there and call it quits, huh?
Yeah, I mean, what is sex without love and romance and compassion?
That's it, Pop! That's what I'll do! A retirement party!
Behind a sitcom that premiered on Fox in 1991, no one could have predicted the impact ROC would leave. It was a rare blend of comedy and drama that quickly captured hearts. But while audiences laughed and cried with the Emerson family, the cast was quietly making history. From bold live broadcasts to Jamie Foxx's wild improvisations and unaired episodes, secrets emerged that reshaped the show's legacy. The question is, what did the cast reveal? And how does it change everything we thought we knew? Behind the sitcom was Fox's ambition to expand its programming with stories that felt authentic to working-class African Americans. That ambition gave birth to ROC, a comedy drama centered on Charles "Rock" Emerson, a Baltimore garbage collector played by Charles S. Dutton. His wife, Eleanor, was brought to life by Ella Joyce, while ROC's freeloading brother Joey was played by Rocky Carroll, and his father Andrew by Carl Gordon. When the series debuted on August 25, 1991, audiences immediately noticed something different. The show didn't look or feel like the average sitcom. It was built on long takes, natural dialogue, and the kind of pacing that made it feel closer to live theater. Behind the sitcom was also a cast whose chemistry was far from accidental. While most shows rely heavily on writers and directors to force chemistry, ROC had something special that many fans never realized. Most of its cast members had already worked together on Broadway and in theater. They were professionals who had trained side by side for years, perfecting their craft and developing trust in one another. This meant that when cameras rolled, the closeness wasn't staged, it was real. What viewers saw on screen wasn't a sitcom family faking connection, but an ensemble whose bond was rooted in shared history and mutual respect.
If I gotta read yesterday's funnies to get me a wall like that, it's okay with me.
So, when ROC and Joey argued, it never felt like two actors reading from a script. It felt like two brothers clashing after years of pent-up frustration, their words carrying weight that couldn't be faked. The same was true of ROC and Eleanor's romance. Their tenderness, their bickering, their mutual respect, it didn't come across as staged television affection. It felt lived in, because the cast's real-life friendships spilled naturally into their performances. But what made the show powerful wasn't just chemistry. It was the fact that each actor brought pieces of their own life into the roles, weaving personal truths into scripted storylines. When life shapes a script, a sitcom stops being just entertainment and becomes something deeper. ROC began like a traditional half-hour comedy, but as the series grew, it leaned into weighty social issues that most sitcoms of the early 90s carefully avoided. Instead of sticking to family-friendly jokes, ROC dared to confront racism, gang violence, drugs, poverty, and youth crime directly. These weren't abstract issues to the cast. They were real, lived experiences. And that authenticity made the storytelling hit harder. Take Charles S. Dutton, for example. Long before stepping onto a Hollywood set, he spent years behind bars. It was in prison that he stumbled into theater, a discovery that reshaped his life completely. That transformation, from inmate to acclaimed stage actor, meant that when ROC Emerson stood on screen railing against injustice or comforting his neighbors, Dutton wasn't just playing a part. He was channeling lessons carved from survival, redemption, and reinvention.
I'm Charles S. Dutton. Last summer, I came back here to Baltimore, Maryland, to film a story about life on the corner.
So when ROC Emerson raged against the crime and drugs tearing Baltimore apart, that passion wasn't faked. He knew the pain of wasted lives, and he poured that truth into his performance. Carl Gordon, who played ROC's father Andrew, had lived through the civil rights movement and carried those scars and triumphs with him. His character often clashed with ROC over generational differences, whether to fight or endure, whether survival meant compromise or resistance. Those weren't just scripted arguments. They were real debates Carl himself had wrestled with. Ella Joyce, as Eleanor, often said her character reminded her of the women in her own family, pillars of strength who held households together despite relentless pressure. That grounding showed in every quiet smile, every firm word, every gesture of love she brought to the role. And the authenticity stretched into the storylines too. In one episode, ROC and Eleanor took in Calvin's daughter after Calvin went to prison. For the cast, that wasn't a far-off TV scenario. They understood the reality of fractured families and the resilience required to step in. So when ROC tackled issues like police brutality or economic hardship, the actors didn't need to pretend they understood. They actually did. That was why the show resonated so deeply with audiences who felt ignored by mainstream television. And yet, as bold as the social themes were, the true heartbeat of rock wasn't politics. It was family. That depth was something fans never fully realized. Charles S. Dutton naturally became a mentor and protector on set, especially toward Rocky Carroll, who was younger and still carving his path. It mirrored Rock's protective, sometimes frustrated love for his brother Joey. Carl Gordon became a father figure not just in the script but in real life, guiding the younger cast with wisdom, patience, and encouragement. Ella Joyce brought warmth and balance to both the set and her on-screen marriage, reinforcing the feeling that Rock and Eleanor were truly in it together. Over time, the cast wasn't just portraying family, they were one. And that invisible bond translated into emotional depth audiences could feel, even if they couldn't name it.
I mean, you brought happiness into this house, man. You brought Daddy in here. You brought me in.
And that sense of authenticity made Rock strong enough to do something no other sitcom of its time dared to try, by handing the spotlight to a rising comedian and letting him improvise his way into television history. But who was it, and what was its effect on the show? The rise of Jamie Foxx. Before he was an Oscar-winning actor, Jamie Foxx was just a young stand-up comedian hustling for opportunities. When a chance came to join the cast of Rock, he grabbed it with both hands. On the show, he played Reverend Leon Lonnie Love, a loud, unpredictable, and often hilarious character who instantly stole scenes. What fans didn't realize was that much of what they saw on screen wasn't in the script at all. Jamie was known for his lightning-fast wit and ability to riff on any situation. On set, he improvised lines, added gestures, and created reactions that sometimes caught even the cast by surprise. Charles S. Dutton, a seasoned stage actor, would often break into laughter mid-scene because Fox had thrown in something entirely new. That energy didn't just elevate the comedy, it added a sense of danger and unpredictability. Viewers tuned in not only for the stories but for the feeling that anything could happen when Fox was on screen. His presence injected a new electricity into the series, helping Rock stand apart in an era where sitcoms usually stuck rigidly to the script. For Jamie, it was more than a breakout moment. It was the foundation for a career that would eventually lead him to stand-up specials, starring film roles, and ultimately, the Academy Awards stage. For Rock, it was proof that the show wasn't afraid to take risks and let talent shine in its rawest form.
Thanks for taking the heat from me, Rock, man. I love you, man.
Don't touch me, George.
But instead of shutting him down, Charles S. Dutton and the rest of the team embraced the unpredictability and let Jamie's improvisation create moments of genuine surprise and laughter. This gave the show an energy most sitcoms couldn't match. One moment, the scenes were serious. The next, Jamie was breaking the tension with a perfectly timed joke. Viewers could sense that it was spontaneous, in-the-moment comedy, not rehearsed. Looking back, those improvisations were a preview of Jamie's future brilliance. But they also prepared the sitcom for something even bolder. Because if Jamie's improved brought a sense of danger to the comedy, the producers soon decided to bring that same danger to the entire show. Television without a safety net. TV shows are safe by design. They are taped, edited, polished, and shot repeatedly until they look flawless. But Rock broke that rule when, for its second season, Fox made the daring decision that the entire show would be performed live every single week. The experiment began with a one-off live broadcast in February 1992, featuring Charles Dutton's then-wife, Debbie Morgan. The gamble paid off. The episode worked, audiences loved the rawness, and suddenly the cast and crew were staring at a whole new challenge, pulling it off every week. That meant no retakes. No safety nets. If someone flubbed a line, froze, or a prop went wrong, it all aired as is. Fans at home weren't watching a sitcom anymore. They were watching live theater dressed up as television. The tension wasn't just in the storylines, but in the knowledge that anything could happen on air. To drive the point home, almost every episode in Season 2 opened with a short prologue where one of the cast members addressed the audience directly. These weren't generic intros either. They often referenced current events from that same week or even that same day, just to prove the show was live. Sometimes those references even slipped into the episode itself. One standout example came during the 1992 presidential election. The episode aired the Sunday before voters went to the polls. As the Emerson family awaited results, the director literally interrupted the broadcast to note that the results were still unknown, causing the characters to react in real time. This was groundbreaking. Not only did it blur the line between sitcom and stage play, it also gave viewers a sense that they were part of something unfolding in the moment. Rock wasn't just another show you could catch on reruns, it was an event you had to see live, or you missed out on the experience forever.
That the next president of the United States is...
Cut! Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Legends on set. One of the most remarkable things about ROC is how it quietly became an avenue for incredible talents to showcase themselves long before they became household names. Before Samuel L. Jackson became the highest-grossing actor in Hollywood history with roles in Pulp Fiction, The Avengers, and Star Wars, he walked onto the set of ROC in a small part. At the time, it was just another credit on a long resume. But looking back now, the sight of Samuel L. Jackson on a humble Baltimore sitcom stage feels almost surreal, like catching a glimpse of history in the making. And he wasn't the only one. Tupac Shakur, yes, that Tupac, also appeared on ROC. Long before his music and activism turned him into a cultural icon, he stepped into the show's world, bringing his raw charisma and presence with him. For viewers watching in the early 90s, it might not have registered as monumental. But decades later, those episodes feel like time capsules, capturing legends just before they erupted into the spotlight. Even beyond the big names, the show nurtured rising black talent across the board. Many guest actors, comedians, and musicians who stopped by the set would later carve out influential careers in entertainment. To rewatch ROC now is to spot hidden gems, faces that would later dominate screens and stages, tucked inside a show that wasn't afraid to take chances. That's part of why ROC resonates so differently when you revisit it today. At the time, it was just a sitcom, though a daring one. But in hindsight, you see the way it bridged worlds, blending comedy and theater, politics and family, improvisation and live music, community culture and mainstream television. It wasn't just a show, it was a platform. And the legends who passed through its doors, whether actors, comedians, or musicians, were proof of how much impact it quietly had.
Hey, Rob. Hello, Eleanor.
How you doing, Larry? Thanks for the cufflinks.
Oh, I hope they're not too Gary.
And the frustration doesn't end there. The series never had the chance to deliver a proper conclusion for the Emerson family. Storylines were left hanging, character arcs unfinished, and audiences were left wondering what could have been if the show had been given the space to grow. For example, the relationship between ROC and Eleanor hinted at deeper struggles and triumphs that were never fully explored. Joey's growth from a freeloading brother to someone searching for real purpose was cut short. Even Calvin's story, a young man navigating the pressures of Baltimore life, could have developed into one of the most important coming-of-age tales of the decade. Instead, the show ended abruptly, leaving fans to imagine how these journeys might have played out. To this day, that lack of closure remains one of the biggest what-ifs in sitcom history.
Talking about my life to actually perform scenes from August Wilson, from Shakespeare, Douglas Turner Ward, and on and on and on.
He carved out a legacy far greater than one sitcom could contain. Charles S. Dutton became a symbol of resilience, a man who turned his own struggles into artistry, and who elevated every project he touched. Meanwhile, Ella Joyce, who played Eleanor, built a steady career in television and theater, appearing in films like Set It Off and Bubba Hotep, and making guest appearances on shows such as My Wife and Kids. She also devoted herself to stage work, continuing the roots that had made her so compelling on ROC. Rocky Carroll, who played Joey, eventually became a household name through his long-running role as director Leon Vance on NCIS. For many viewers, it was surreal to watch him go from the light-hearted younger brother on ROC to a commanding presence on one of America's biggest crime dramas. Carl Gordon, who played ROC's father Andrew, remained a respected veteran of the stage and screen until his passing in 2010. For many fans, he embodied the wisdom and warmth of the show's heart, and his legacy continues through the impact he left on both colleagues and audiences. Even Jamie Foxx, who found one of his earliest opportunities on ROC, went on to global stardom, an Oscar, Grammy wins, blockbuster films, and a music career that made him one of the most versatile entertainers of his generation. In a way, ROC helped sharpen his improvisational brilliance and gave him the chance to surprise audiences, something he never stopped doing. So while ROC may not have received the syndication, reruns, or DVD releases that other 90s sitcoms enjoyed, its spirit lived on through its cast. Each of them carried the show's values, authenticity, grit, and truth, into the rest of their careers. And that's why, even though the episodes remain hard to find, the essence of ROC endures in the work that followed.
Those are my regular haunts, and people always inviting me to other places wherever they're performing, because people know I love jazz.
Guiding them on how to navigate both stage and screen. Her belief in the power of storytelling extended beyond her own career, and she spent years helping others find their voice in the arts. Though she never landed another leading TV role quite as prominent as Eleanor in ROC, Ella Joyce carved out a respected career as a working actress and mentor, and her portrayal of Eleanor remains one of the best representations of a black wife on TV. guiding them on how to navigate both stage and screen. Rocky Carroll, who played Rock's brother Joey, a charming but flawed character often struggling with gambling and other vices, went on to have perhaps the most high-profile television career of all the Rock cast members after the show ended. His career trajectory more or less exploded, as he transitioned seamlessly from comedy drama to more serious roles, guiding them on how to navigate both stage and screen. He joined the cast of Chicago Hope in 1996, playing Dr. Keith Wilkes, a role that introduced him to a broader mainstream audience and showcased his ability to handle complex medical storylines. But Rocky's most iconic role came in 2008 when he joined the cast of NCIS as Leon Vance, the new director of the Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Initially appearing in Season 5, his role quickly expanded, and he became a permanent part of the series, guiding them on how to navigate both stage and screen. He didn't just act on NCIS, he eventually directed several episodes, proving his versatility behind the camera. In addition to NCIS, he made appearances on shows like Grey's Anatomy, Boston Legal, and The Agency, further cementing his status as a strong supporting actor. Rocky Carroll's post-rock career is often described as the most successful in terms of visibility and steady work, guiding them on how to navigate both stage and screen. After Rock, Carl Gordon, who played Rock's wise and often stubborn father Andrew Emerson, returned primarily to theater, where he had long been associated with August Wilson's plays. He was part of the original Broadway cast of Wilson's The Piano Lesson in 1990, and after Rock ended, he continued to perform in stage productions, often revisiting Wilson's works. On television, Carl appeared in guest spots on Law & Order and Law & Order, SVU.
I love to do love story between two human beings, because there's all kinds of love stories, besides being a man and a woman.
He also appeared in films like The Piano Lesson in 1995. Unfortunately, Carl's career was cut short by illness. He was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which he battled for several years before his passing in 2010 at the age of 78. While his screen credits after Rock were not as numerous as those of his co-stars, his influence as a stage actor and his memorable role as Andrew Emerson left a lasting mark. He also appeared in films like The Piano Lesson in 1995. Which of these revelations about the 1991 Rock cast did you know before now? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.